Welcome everybody to our group call for the 27th of April. I know we've had a fantastic week behind us, both with manual trading and with our automated trading. So we're going to get into looking at those results and also what our game plan is for the week ahead, as well as some, good trading insights into trading our signal charts. So we're going to jump into that. Don't know if you guys have been watching the signal chart today so far. It's actually been pretty phenomenal. Watching how the market opened, coming up, bouncing off our 50 Fibonacci level. And it's amazing how, the market came right down, just touched it, finally broke through our trend following over here. The bar coloring coming back down, breakout markers being left behind. The price really, struggling around, the Fibonacci levels as well as the breakout volume markers. So you can see how, the price has just been bouncing around a little bit over here. And, we were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place over here for a while with our, Fibonacci levels and our breakout markers. So those are, very keen interests in the market where, the banks and the funds are looking at, and they're deciding what they want to do at this stage. But right now they're just playing the volume up and down between a very narrow range. But it's quite phenomenal to see how these these indicators are able to show price so clearly, and be able to tell you where these important levels are. And, that's where you expect price to react. So, a good opportunity today for those scalping just between these, strong levels, they would have been extremely powerful to look at. And as we go through today's call, I'm actually going to show you some of the charts that I traded this week and some of the trades that I actually documented and posted within our group. So that's what we're going to be looking at also. I wanted to quickly, again, just touch on our Jumpstart program. So, this program is going extremely well. The members that have been using it, have had really fantastic results. I've had so many emails come through, about, from people who have been able to, go through the different stages of this, this basically course I put together, which is included with the subscription that you guys choose. And, basically helping people to really get set up effectively with the DTB system, and then going through all the parts of it to be able to trade it effectively. So, our first week, we covered the initial setup of the system. And then we also covered, a few of the indicators that make up the system. Week 2, we did much of the same thing, just expanding on week 1. Week 3, we actually went into the actual indicator combinations that make up the signal charts. So very effective. And we also started trading on those signal charts. So I actually documented some trades I actually made short little videos of me actually physically trading live, on live market data, and then recording those sessions for the guys. And then week 4, we actually jumped into the automated trading. So our automated trading is, with our game plan, that's one of the avenues that we've, given out to people to be able to, at least work with the system and run a set, group of templates to be able to trade, like a specific game plan, on charts with the workspace provided. So, that has continued to produce really great results. And talking about results, we're going to cover that next. So, we've had some fantastic results shared in our group chats. So these are public group chats that anybody can really access. So, those have been, really good for people to get an understanding of what the DTB system is capable of, when used effectively. It's another screenshot of those. So, I'm really appreciative of all the guys sharing their results in there. And let's just jump into the actual Discord chat. If I can bring that on my window over here. Okay, so Our game plan last week, which we just covered a few minutes ago. So we started the week with basically with a flat day. And I wanted to just take this opportunity to just explain something about the game plan. So the game plan consists of 3 or 4 templates, and we've been predominantly running the 4 templates for quite a few weeks. And then I kind of changed to 3 templates just because the market has been completely out of whack and all over the place. So I just narrowed down the amount of templates that we have been trading. And then I also just reduced the risk that those templates actually had, the exposure to the market. And, one of the things I want to share about the game plan templates, when the game plan is running, the templates are running, it works out to 11:30 p.m. my time till 1 a.m. So I'm not always around to be actually watching the charts. Now, and that's fine because I still post my results as like a set and forget approach. But for those who really want to take or make the most opportunity out of the game plan templates, the strategies have got buttons on the charts. And those buttons are there to, pause the strategy if you see that, there's huge volatility and, the signals are not matching the current market conditions. So there's the pause feature, but there's also the directional bias feature. So if you are noticing that the market is in a clear trend, and you can generally pick this up, quite early in the session, especially when there's huge announcements coming out, around tariffs and things like that happened last week. A lot of positive news around that. And the market was just shooting up. It was like literally going up and up and up for most of the sessions. So there is an option to be able to select long only on the strategy. So the strategies will still react to the predefined settings inside them, but they will only take long trades. So any signals that come through, the strategy will ignore all others except for the long ones. So, that is something that you can do during a live session. Instead of just letting the strategy take long and short and do what it's programmed to do, you can also just override that slightly by choosing a directional bias. So one of the great ways of doing that is by looking at the show me the money signal chart. Now that's the same signal chart that we use, on every single group call. So every group call that we start up, and if I just, behind this, you'll see, this is the signal chart over here. So, when you're seeing the price do this, you can select long and short. So say, for example, you trade in the US session and you trade in the game plan and you see this type of activity. Hey, well, then you can leave the strategy to be able to trade long and short. But as soon as you see a specific breakout of certain levels, like as an example, if the price had broken out of this range over here, either to the upside, like way beyond where these candles are now, and they're going up, then obviously you would select long only on the strategies. And the same would apply if the price breaks through, strong Fibonacci levels. You can actually use, you can use that. So, that's the chart. Sorry, I didn't have the damn chart on the screen. But, looking at different things on the chart, you can look at, what the market is doing, looking at specific breakout levels, and then choosing a directional bias on that once they've actually, navigated past those zones. So that's what I put inside our Discord chat, and I'm going to be monitoring the chat on here too for the group calls. So any members who want to ask any questions during the call, just pop them in this group calls chat. It's a locked chat only for current members, obviously for paying subscribers. But that show me the money signal chart is very phenomenal. So even if you don't want to manually trade and you've got automated strategies running, you could select a directional bias on the automated strategies that have been optimized. So you've got a higher chance of success or a higher chance of probability because you're specifically selecting a direction bias. Okay, so that is really a cool thing to be able to do. And, if you are able to post results doing that, that's also really great. It not only is good for the group, but it also shows like your accountability. So if you're just letting strategies run and the market's in a very clear directional bias and you didn't act on that, that's fine, because you're following what the game plan, has been set out to do. But if you can manage those strategies more effectively by choosing direction bias, by pausing and actually documenting those results, you're going to find that overall your results are going to far exceed what the game plan can actually deliver, because it's not going to have as many losing positions because you have correctly selected the direction bias of the strategies. So that is a really cool thing to do. And, game plan, like I said over here, think of the game plan like a sports match. You start off with the game plan, but by halftime, if things aren't going to plan, adjustments are made based on what's actually happening on the field. So, and, trading is no different. The market conditions, the whole idea of optimizations is to optimize recent historical data to be able to capture what the current heartbeat of the market is. So the market is moving in all different waves and cycles, and it doesn't help looking 6 months ago what happened. We want to know what currently is happening in the market right now. What is the current heartbeat of the market? So these strategies are already designed to optimize the most recent data, and it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and determine, okay, what is the heartbeat of the market? What is the current market type of ranges and trends that are happening? And then we set that up. But, in real time, there could be specific news announcements that come out that direct the market in a specific direction. There's strong bias in a certain direction. And that is where you can make slight tweaks to your game plan, to adapt with that. I mean, if a team is playing a match and they've started with a game plan and halftime they're losing big time to the other team, they're not going to continue that same game plan going forward. They're going to make slight adjustments. So that is what I would like to see a lot more of you guys do with this game plan. So continuing with the results, we had the results posted in there. So, continually pumping in there. Okay. So these are all the days. So 23rd of April. So 22nd was a bit of a flat day. 23rd of April, just leaving the strategy trade as is. It made 3424 profit. Those are the screenshots for that. So great for posting that in there. Slightly different results with some of the members, but generally that was pretty close on that day. So that continued. That was my results for the 24th, which was a 1171 net loss. Again, just completely leaving it only. But, as I said over here, on this day, I mean, this was basically the day where Trump announced he's going to reduce the tariffs on China. So the people was like, okay, great, the market's going to go up. We live in such a corrupt, manipulated mess of a financial system that, these things are jumping up and down and reacting in live, reacting live to, what's happening, right? So, for those saying, I'm only going to be going, long today because I can see the market is just shooting up. There's been, great announcements come out. Then you choose long only, right? Then you wouldn't have had many losing positions because, all the short trades would have been ignored. So, that's what I was trying to say over there. And we continued with the results over there. And I think this was Friday's results. So this was a good example of, of Bruce actually shutting down early and, just not seeing the market actually performing like it should, really, right? So basically what happened is he paused it early and he actually made a decent profit on Friday by doing so, without, letting it continue for the whole session. So that is pretty cool to see. Okay, now going back to our group results, which is our other results posted. So this is not from the game plan. So the game plan results is specifically for those templates that make up the game plan. Our other results over here. So I did some manual optimizations myself and traded them during the week also, apart from what my server was doing on the VPS. So I traded on another account and did some optimization. So these are my own results over here posted. And you can see I just entered 4. There were 8 positions in total, eight contracts, in a relatively short period of time. So that happened. And then I basically stopped on that. Good results over there. Thank you for sharing. There's some more discretionary trading. So again, nice trading on the manual charts. So keep going there. And, here's an example of me trading the signal chart. So what I normally do is I would, as I'm trading in real time, I will be taking screenshots of the charts and basically documenting my trade. So like these were the trades based on, that screenshot that I just shared over there. Okay, so, you can see short period of time from 20 past 9 or 20 past 9 in the evening to 10:30. It was like there was like a 10-minute period, basically 9:20 to 9:30. So entering a few manual trades, just using an ATM strategy, just targeting different levels on the chart based on where those breakout markers were actually presenting themselves. And a few more. So again, a few more trading. There's breakout markers left behind, entries, targets. So one of the things I covered on a previous call was, let me just remove the camera. I can see it's blocking the top of the screen. One of the things I covered on a previous call is, when the price breaks through a breakout marker and comes back and retests it, that's a very good opportunity to be able to jump into a position and take a trade along over there. Again, coming in, there's breakout markers left behind over there, and all I'm doing there is just targeting, the next price level, which was only 20 ticks away. Small trades, scalping trades. Sometimes that's great to do, and I was doing that the whole time. I mean, I was kicking ass with this chart. So seeing the breakout markers left behind, seeing the divergences, seeing where the coloring of the bars adjust, that all makes a huge difference, in even just scalping positions. And generally, within a very short period of time, those trades can be achieved. You see there was, so you can see I even took small targets, not even trying to be greedy and, chase larger targets, even just doing some scalping positions on like 1 or 2 NQ contracts. So, there was like 2 sessions there, 9:20 to 9:55, 4 a.m. to 6:30. So, just trading these, the signal charts, looking at, like you can see there's my markers there to take long trades, as the price was, going up, breaking through. There it actually had reversed. I exited over there, seeing a bounce up. So, really great opportunities around these breakout markers and just extending that profit in that. Here's another one over here, taking, seeing the breakout volume markers, seeing what the price is doing, adding in an indicator here that is, one of our amazing tools in our tool set called the volume analysis. So it's basically analyzing different bar volume and telling us, who's in control of the market, and it just really gave us a beautiful, beautiful signal over there. I entered, as price was smashing through the breakout volume markers, noticing that the volume was all green, taking advantage of that. So, this is a thing that we're able to constantly do, using these signal charts. And if I go back to the signal chart, if we go back over here, look at this. So there's your breakout volume markers. There's the Fibonacci. As you can see, the price broke through. So earlier you saw how I moved this box over here, showing that, these, you bugger, showing that, when price breaks through levels, that's a good opportunity to be able to take those positions short, because those markers, had stayed behind. The price is running down. Even there, the price is running down. So, there's plenty opportunity to be able to take advantage of these signal charts, because they produce extremely, extremely high probability trades. Okay, so going back to our results over here. So, continue looking at this. And again, I've been documenting, this one was a little bit touch and go, because I had a shadow trading there. But then I've also had these breakout volume markers there. So again, what I was saying earlier is, the price breaking through, coming back to retest. And the reason why I took these specific positions was because we had two breakout volume markers over there. We've got a momentum line right up, and, taking this. And all I was trying to do is to target the next guaranteed price levels. So you'll see this is a 30-30 chart. And what that means is, you've got guaranteed price levels at every 30 tick interval. So targeting, having a stop over there when the price breaks through, because obviously when the price breaks under these breakout volume markers and closes below, we're going to have, there's a good chance the price is going to come down. So looking at that, price touched, bounced up, and, you can see how that, came back up again. Beautiful entry and hitting my target. And look at that momentum line. Stayed nice and high, really helped with that. So, a very good approach to being able to understand these signal charts. And I mean, these charts have been put together with a lot of thought and attention to, make sure that they can be as effective as possible. So, load them up. Have a, look at the indicators. And if you want to watch playback for a while, it's a good idea to load maybe a week's worth of playback data, run it at 10 speed, and just watch the charts in action, watch how the indicators react around the price, and let that happen. So, I mean, like this whole time, as you can see the times, I was just like, I was on a roll. I was like, I'm going to trade the signal chart. I'm going to show you guys how this is done. And, again, I was doing the same thing over there. So there, breakout volume markers left behind. Price going, volume showing high probability. They come back down, retesting Fibonacci level. There's also a strong Fibonacci level there, you see? So, coming back up, entering another position. You can see how the bars are still green. The volume is great. The markers are over here. Coming in, they briefly brought the price back down again, retesting those breakout markers, coming back up again, and then going to my target. So all evident by looking at the volume on the chart to see what that is telling you, as well as these breakout volume markers, as well as the Fibonacci levels. And you can very often see if the Fibonacci levels are effective, because you can look at how prices reacted around them historically. So as an example over here, you can see these two arrows over here, how, the price literally bounced almost to the tick off that 38.2 hourly, Fibonacci level. So, going through there, breaking through, coming back, retesting, markers left behind. It's a beautiful, a beautiful way to be able to, to trade effectively. So that was that. There's a few more over here. Now, I know I'm banging on about this, but I mean, if our game plan that we are trading is literally trading for an hour and a half a day. You guys have got multiple hours around the day to sit for an hour or two just to do some manual scalping trading based on what you are looking at on the signal chart. So another beautiful example over here, seeing the price, fail at these breakout volume markers there. You can see I entered some long positions over there. I just targeted over there, like small targets, because I was seeing the momentum line actually coming down. But as soon as the price had broken through these breakout volume markers and had broken through that Fibonacci level, immediately I jumped on there for a quick scalping trade down. So, this type of thing is constantly coming up on the screens. And it's, you might even, like this was at like 1 a.m, okay, for US. If you're on the, in New York, that's the time. So generally, this might not be the perfect session because you're probably all sleeping, obviously. But generally, there's these opportunities present all the time. So being able to identify, what the charts are telling you, what the indicators are telling you, it is extremely powerful. So there's that. There's another one over here. Looking at the breakout volume markers, look at the momentum line, how beautifully that's facing up. Price is just bouncing off over here. And all I'm doing again was just targeting, a small move up. Okay. So doing that. So like even just like little scalping trades. I mean, and some of you, to be trading, 1 or 2 bars, with this. Here's another one over here with the breakout markers, left behind, the momentum line facing down, the price just fading over here. There's the Fibonacci level, and just watching what that is doing over here. You can see, and all I'm doing over there is targeting a guaranteed price level. So that's the power of trading, charts like this using the DTB bars. Is we're not stuffing around with minute bars that have got all different size wicks and all different size candles. We are looking at guaranteed price levels. So we know for an absolute certainty that the price is either gonna go up to this bar or this bar, or it's going to come back down over here. I mean, there's nothing else it can do. Those are the guaranteed price levels. And you can see this whole time, I'm just scalping the shit out of this chart. Being extremely successful, with it, just following these breakout volume markers. And you can see they constantly update. They're constantly updating to give you the latest signals that they are generating. So, and then, that was just 2 contracts on 130 tick bar, and it's literally like $300. So, these type of trades can be taken, constantly as you are monitoring what the chart is doing. So, I was literally just doing this, and like here's another one here. So this is another simple approach, very simple approach. It's called back to the baseline trading. Okay, so basically you load up a chart, and here's an example of one too, another one here. So a very simple approach, and this is one of the powerful things about the DTB bars is we've got these guaranteed price levels. We've got baselines that are forming. So when the price is moving, what the only thing can happen is it's going to either break to a new baseline and continue upwards, or it's going to break down to another baseline. And other than that, it's only going to form wicks. So you're going to see how the price goes up and down on a wick, and then it's going to run the baseline, up and down on a wick, and then run the baseline. So that's a trending baseline. This is a flat baseline. Same type of thing over here. The price is either going to return to the baseline, or it's going to form a new baseline. So we're looking at guaranteed price levels, and we're looking at raw tick data. So we're looking at raw tick data, which coincidentally is exactly what the exchange is sending to trading platforms. So, a trading platform is not receiving 5-minute bars from the exchange, or 15-minute bars, or 30-minute bars. Those are all made up data. Those are all made up bar sizes. And then people have gone and written books about all these chart patterns and all the rest to go with it. But, the exchange is sending trading platforms raw tick data, and that is exactly what we are using. But as an added benefit, we are adding guaranteed price levels. And this is what you're looking at over here. So it's a very simple thing over here. This price is either going to go up and break to this baseline, or it's going to return to this baseline. There's nothing else it can do. So, you've already got a 50% chance entering a position. And the same thing goes when you're actually entering a position on a baseline. Okay, if you're entering a position on the baseline, you got a 50% chance it's going to go to this baseline, or a 50% chance it's going to go to this baseline. That's the only thing it can do. So you've got guaranteed price levels with tick data, which is raw tick data. And there you can see this is it's coming back down. It's going to very likely touch the baseline. So these type of things are constantly coming up, presenting, and that would be like 60 ticks. So these things are constantly happening all the time, where the price is just forming these wicks and forming these baselines. Okay, so looking at this, going back to my results, so you could see I've got much larger targets over here, stops actually, and smaller targets. But looking at this now, this was a little bit touch and go because we had our breakout volume mark over here. We started seeing green bars, but what made me find this to be okay was our momentum line was way below the price. So seeing a lot of gold bars over here, momentum line below the price, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a calculated guess over here that the price can at least return to this guaranteed level before it shoots up. And that's kind of what it did, because the price returned to the baseline, it touched my target, and I was out of that position. And then I was looking at the next charts over here. So was there any more I did after that? Let me just see. So I mean, that was like a whole marathon, and it was probably like $4,000 in like a few hours. Just trading, that signal chart with the price. And like, here we go again. So we've got our breakout markers left behind. We've got this colored bar over here. So you're going to notice cyan bars, and then you're going to notice like a purple bar. So whenever you see a purple bar, unless there's major news announcements, there's a very, very high likelihood that the price is going to reverse. So this paints the instant that this bar closes, it's going to paint. So breakout volume markers, price breaking above. We've actually got confirmation of signals going along over here. And it's the same with these. So you get these like tomato color bars. They're also pretty strong. But whenever you see a red bar, and again, it's not unless it's during a heavy news announcement time. But these bars are painting in absolute real time. So I'm going to switch back. And very often, like here, must have been something crazy happening, because the market just shot up. Again, we were looking at last week, right, where those announcements came out. But generally, when you see these bright red bars like this, there's a very high likelihood of a price reversal. And it's the same thing over here. There's the bright red bars. There's these purple bars, reversal. Cyan bars too, but not. They're going to be quite powerful. But those red and those purple bars are, the height of reversals. So, it's really important to be able to look at this in real time and watch what price is doing. I mean, and if you look to the right of the chart, you will see like, this would have been a long over here going up, but, there's your reversal in the trend following. So it's going to constantly give you incredible, powerful signals. There was at 9, so obviously something big happened. There's the 9:30, probably not the best, because that's at the market open. But generally, you're going to have these present fantastic signals, and not only those. Even if you just look at the arrows on the indicator itself, this is the shadow trading. You're going to notice that. Not always they're going to give you those immediate turnarounds, but very frequently they will. So, I firmly believe that this this chart that you're looking at here, which is a combination of different tools, is an absolute game changer, for those who want to do manual trading. And you're going to notice there's a lot of Fibonacci levels in place. So like there's the 61.8. Now that's only taking into consideration, the last 24 hours of data. So, looking at the market activity from, where the price was over the last trading day, and that's plotting the high and the low. So you can see there's the high that was achieved at, 4:30 on Friday. So there's the high, there's the 100%. Price coming down. You can see how it bounced off the 76 over there, came back down. Here's the 61.8, bounced around the 61.8, coming up a bit, broke right through, came back, almost touched it exactly, and then had a small reversal. So these Fibonacci levels are extremely, extremely, extremely powerful and accurate at giving you a very good indication of what price is going to do next. So, if you guys have to master this chart, and you have to master, not only this one, we've also got the take it and run. We've got a few signal charts over here, which are absolutely powerful, to really help you guys with your manual trading. So I encourage you guys to really put a lot of effort into, looking at these charts, understanding them, reading the supporting documents that come with it. There we had a small a retest of the breakout volume marker, but we're up against a small fib over here. So, we can still take small scalping positions, but then just tighten up your stops, because there's a chance that this is more powerful. This Fibonacci level here is more powerful than this very specific breakout marker, stopping the price from coming down. And again, when price breaks through, opportunity to trade the price down. So, that's kind of what I did over the last week, was, really put a lot of effort into, showing my positions, that I took, based on what the signal charts were actually offering. So again, anybody can go look at this in group results all. You'll see my screenshots over there. They all the ones put there by DTB traders. They're all over there. They've all been documented. Live trading this chart. So, have a good look at those, as well as, run the playback yourself and look at how these charts are entering. Now, I'm not sure about the slippage today, 33, 34. Okay, so this is pretty good. I noticed this earlier was like 4 points between, so like 16 ticks. So, that was a bit wild. But, now it's fine. So, a good time, a very, very good time to trade these charts is from like 8 p.m. till midnight. So if you're in the East Coast of the US and you want to trade, 2 to 3 to 4 hours a night, you can very, very comfortably be able to load up a chart like this and enter positions based on what, the signals are telling you. And then it's just a few scalping trades and you're basically done for the day. So that was one of the main things I wanted to cover, just the absolute power of these charts. And I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer if you just watch these charts for a while. So, I don't want anybody to come to me and say, I can't be consistent, or, I can't be profitable. I mean, I've just proven to you beyond a shadow of a doubt with documented results that if you understand these charts, you can be very, very consistent using them. So I don't know what more I can do. You want me? I don't want to come and I don't have to come and hold your hand, right? I'm looking for people who want to take trading seriously. Because I spend thousands and thousands of hours building these tools, putting them together, putting these combinations together to really help and show price effectively. So, I expect people to be, committed to the learning journey and committed to be able to, really put the time in to understand and work with these charts. Cool. So, I mean, and it's on a plate, man. I don't know, but it's great. I mean, I'm doing very, very, very well using them myself. So, that's at the end of the day, I'm very, very comfortable using these charts. I'm very successful trading them. So, I'm just looking for more individuals who, want to do the same. Because why would you go and load up a 5-minute chart and go and learn 500 different chart patterns and 200 different chart formations and understand what every single candlestick means, dojis, head and shoulders for patterns and hammerheads? Why would you want to even waste your time with any of that crap when you can look at a chart like this with guaranteed price levels and make simple trades in and out the market and be done? I mean, what is where's the common sense in messing around with minute bars? Okay, cool. Let's go to our game plan for the week. So I covered that a bit more than I should have, but it is just I look at this and it's like, wow, this is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal, and I don't know why the whole world isn't jumping on this. Anyway, it's their loss, I guess. But thanks to the guys who are committed and the ones who are sticking with the system, because ultimately you're going to benefit, right? Game plan. Okay, so we're going to look at our game plan for the week ahead. So you'll see there's a game plan chat in the Discord chat, in the Discord channel over here, which I'll bring up in a moment. And again, I'm just going to monitor the different chats on here. Just 1 second. Right. Group calls. Okay, cool. There's no messages there. That's good. Okay, so where was I? Okay, game plan for the week ahead. So I mentioned about the game plan, so I'm going to bring that document up. So you're going to notice that this week we have got, obviously, we've got a new assembly that was launched for the 27th. So make sure you're on that latest assembly. And you're going to notice on here, and this is a very simple setup. So anybody who wants to run the game plan, as long as they're a member, they can load up the workspace, follow these very simple instructions, load up the charts on the workspace. Well, the charts are already loaded. All you do is activate the strategy, add the strategy to the chart and load a template. Okay, that's it. So, there's a strategy for the NQ. And what I've done for the NQ this week is I've made the strategy only enter one position at a time. So I'm giving it a lot more legs to be able to enter positions. So it's not a very, funny enough, I'm looking at this chart. Remember I was telling you, what's the price going to do? It's either going to return to the baseline or form a new baseline. Well, look, it's returning to the baseline. So, without even knowing a single chart pattern about anything, you could have, made positions there back to the baseline. Anyway, sidetracked. NQ, there's MNQ also. MNQ is going to enter up to 4 contracts. I've actually kept the same template as last week because that template actually did very well last week. So we're going to keep that one going. The ES, I've made a slight adjustment to that. We've got a 10 and a 5 chart this week. So I've done an optimization for that. It's also one that doesn't enter many trades. So I'm not expecting a lot of trades to come from, this template this week. But then I've also introduced template number 4, MNQ chart, strategy used. This is not baseline wick trader. This is the Medina wick trader. Okay, so Medina wick trader strategy, and this is one that you got to press the start button on. So this is going to be pretty cool. It doesn't show any historical performance because it is it doesn't work in the strategy analyzer. So we're going to be trading this chart this week. It's the MNQ, and we're only going to be trading from 9:20 a.m. to 9:34 a.m. So it's only a 20 to 30 to 35, 9:20 to 30. 20 to 25 to 30 to 35. It's like a 15-minute time window. So we're only going to trade this specific strategy for 15 minutes, and that's going to be over the market open because, believe it or not, the strategy kicks ass on market open. So that's what our game plan looks like for the week ahead. Again, very simple to use. You know, you go to your control center, you go to your workspaces. I'm just going to close this workspace. I will save it. I'm going to go to workspace and I'm going to go game plan for trading week ahead. It's going to load up your 4 charts. Wait for them to actually load. And then all you got to do is go to your game plan documents. And load up the strategy. So very simple. You just copy exactly what the game plan says. Load up the baseline wick trader. Go template and you go load. You load up the template that it's called there. Simples. And then choose your specific trading account that you're going to trade on. Now I'm going to connect my live account to this later. But basically load up the strategy. Come back to your game plan document. You know, look at the actual, you know, the screenshot over there. That's going to tell you, you know, the exact values over there, which is matching over there. You can see. So load that up. Go to the next one. Strategies. Load up the baseline wick trader, template load. You know, you're going to load number 2, which is the MNQ, which I've already got there. Choose your account, enable, apply, and OK. Template number 3, exact same thing. Strategies, template load, number 3, enable. I'll just do it again. Template load number 3. Again, this is all screenshotted on the document. You can't stuff this up. It's not possible to stuff this up. You know, if you've got a little bit of concentration, you know, in play. Now, our 4th one's pretty cool. So this is where I said we trade in the Medina wick trade. Now you're going to see I got a 5-minute bar. Okay. Now earlier I said we don't stuff around with 5-minute bars for manual trading or any trading at all. Well, you'll be very happy to know that we trade this chart exactly opposite to how anybody else would trade it. And that's why we're so damn successful with it. So strategies. Medina wick trader strategy. You'll see it's only got a 2 to 400. It's got a small window to work within. So again, template, you load the Medina wick trader strategy, template load. You'll see it's over there. Template number 4, MNQ. Select that. Click on load. Enable, apply, OK. Now, again, when you see calculating, don't touch the chart. Like, leave the mouse. Don't touch any single thing on the trading chart at all, because it's going to cause issues with NinjaTrader, to put it lightly. Okay, so we let this, it takes a while to set up. You know, try whenever you load the strategy during the week, always make sure you've got like 0 days data. Now I had 2 days on this chart, but you know, 0 days is fine. So as soon as you got the strategy active, you can see all the calculating is gone. You just press the start button, which again is very clearly highlighted on this document. So if you scroll down to template number 4, it says over there, template number 4 is the Medina wick trader strategy. You have to press start button on this chart daily until green. Okay, so that just means you got to press the start button. And I haven't activated an auto start because this thing can start trading immediately if it's within trading hours. So basically what's going to happen is this is a retracement strategy. So like you'll see over here, like most people will be like, oh, I'm going to go short. This strategy, if it was active right now, it'll be acting on, it'll enter a long position instead of a short position, you know, in this type of situation, like over there at 0. So this is going to be trading the open, and all we're trying to do is be trading the chaos of the market open to scalp the market. And that's all it's going to be doing. And, you know, this is the kind of a situation where we trade around. You see this part here? You see how the price goes up, goes down. It's like, you know, that's what we're going to be trading, the 930. It's this very small window of time that we're going to be trading this. So let's see how this goes. I do have a few extra little bits and pieces within the strategy, but I'm not going to cover that today, simply because I haven't actually I haven't done a lot of testing on the updates that I've done to it, so I don't want to share that at the moment. You can see how, like I said, this one's entering opposite trades, so like opposite. It's incredible. Anyway, so we're going to do this today, and this is going to be on this chart. So that's why we've got four charts running today. So again, very, very simple setup. You've got your document that even shows you a screenshot at the bottom. This is how your charts must look. So it's all very very well done for you guys. I think that is it. That's all I needed to cover today. I really want you guys to look at the signal charts, and if you also want to just make things very simple too, load up a trending baseline or a flat baseline chart like this, like a 205. Because the price is either going to return to the baseline or form a new baseline. It's the same with this. We've got the price trending. And while you're deciding to enter positions, go and switch to that signal chart to see what that looks like. I mean, you've got this amazing signal chart over here. And I'm going to quickly switch to this over here. Duplicate a new tab. I'm going to go data series. I'm going to put this on a 20 and a 20, and I'm going to make this, let's just make this 0 days to see if it loads faster. And you go template, load, and signal chart combo 5, show me the money, load. There you got all your indicators that are busy loading. Everything will come up, so give it a moment to load up. You'll see I've even got an Apex account that I've been working with on this other machine as an extra data series, a data feed. So that's what I've been playing around with also, apart from what's happening on my game plan. And we'll just give this a moment to load. So again, just let the indicators all load. Let them all just completely, because remember, it's analyzing a lot of data. It's looking back at historical data. It's getting all those Fibonacci levels in place. It's looking at all the volume. It's really calculating a tremendous amount of information that's going to be, put out on the chart. So there we go. So there's our Fibonacci levels. You can see breakout volume markers, price bouncing around. I don't see my 61, so I might have to load a little bit more data on there. You're going to see your main ones. You're going to see your absolute main Fibonacci levels, and I put 0 days. So what that's actually doing is it hasn't actually calculated Friday's data, which is the last 24 hours. So I'm just going to put on here 2 days worth of data, and that will just bring up the rest. Now, as you go throughout the day, and you load 0 days, like an early US session, you'll be fine to, just load the 0 days, because there's generally going to be new highs and lows in the market. But anyway, those 5-minute Fibonacci's are not as important as the rest. So again, just let this load up. Again, a bit more data that it's got to plot on the chart. So let it just do that, catch up with price. Good. I hope you guys have been getting some good, good content for yourselves over here with regards to trading this, and just working with the DTB system. So we'll just give this a few more seconds to load up. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, you can keep it on 0 days. That's okay. So there's our breakout volume markers. There's our Fibonacci levels. All beautiful. We've had a nice rundown, retesting of this 50 fib. Look how powerful that has been. You see this section over here, breaking through, coming back, retesting it, failing, boom. Incredible signals. Wonderful. Okay, guys, thank you so much for jumping on the call, and to those watching the replay. Amazing system we have here. Keep using it. Don't stuff around. Just kick ass with it. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch up same time next week. All right. Cheers.